What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Devin, aka Never Fear. Steven keeps asking me to do that every time. I just can't do it without laughing. It's your boy, Never Fear. Good times. Well, welcome to episode 2. In episode 2, we're going to cover the next 5 minutes of the demo that was released almost a week ago. There's a lot of cool things in here, some of them which I didn't even notice until yesterday and the day before. I'm excited. Let's get started. Alright, so one of the things that I really like about this Scar Camp is how detailed, just really everything in this game is super detailed, has a lot of geometry everywhere. It's not just a flat, plain surface. Everywhere you look, it looks amazing, right? So this first thing that's coming up right here is going to be Catherine, like it says here. She's coming in with an entrance animation, right? So those are customizable, and you can have different ones. Hopefully there'll be more than one that we can choose from, since they're saying that you can, personalize it. Okay, so right here, I'm going to replay this section a couple of times for you to point some things out. So if you're looking, obviously the storm freezes the enemies, and then the Colossus slams down. Now, one of the big things I noticed is how, if you're looking in the corner, you can see that the ultimate is powering up. And when you're looking in there, it powers up more than halfway. So that kind of led me to a question. It's like, wow, okay, so that's like 3 or 4 enemies, that he kind of comboed with the storm and basically just destroyed them and built up his ultimate pretty easily. I don't know if that's for demo purposes or not. I don't think it was, because they've talked about how they regret not using the ultimate more than they did in the demo. Because in theory they said you should be able to have used it, 2 or 3 times by then, when they first showed it off in the demo. So that also got me wondering. It's like, well, how much of that XP, or that experience, is the storm getting, And then I thought the same thing about all the other combos. I haven't really thought about that before. It's like, okay, we're comboing, we're doing different effects, but do I get experience if I start the combo and somebody else finishes it? Do I get some of that experience for them killing all those enemies? Or, I don't know how it's split. I asked Jonathan Warner on Twitter, but he hasn't gotten back to me. So hopefully he does. It'll be interesting to find out. I'm sure one way or another we're going to eventually find out how that's split. What do you guys think? Do you think we should, split it based on damage, or what ways do you think we should split that experience so that everybody gets a little piece of that pie that is involved in that action? Alright, so next, what we're seeing here, obviously the Colossus is just kind of flying down there, and that's when we run into the world event, which is pretty cool. There's not a lot. The big things I noticed around here is all the dense foliage, the things we've talked about before, how amazing this game looks. They say our javelins were too weak, our group was too weak to take on that Titan, but I probably would have at least taken a swing at it. So Steven's probably like, yep, yeah. So I really like these underwater areas. We have talked to them before. If you listen to the interview with Mike Gamble that we did, there is no combat underwater. There's lots of things to explore. And just like in the air, you can increase your javelin's abilities to stay underwater longer. If you saw there, there's a little half moon there, half circle, where the oxygen that you have is kind of depleting. And if you run out of oxygen, you're going to suffocate and die. So they make it so you can explore further, and check out everything that's going on. So let's see what else we got here. I really like the look in here, all the particles, everything is just really amazing. I definitely like the look of all the javelins. The storm obviously is out in front, not going to wait for anybody. So let's see, some interesting things. So coming up right up in here is when we're going to have another little encounter. So let's see what we got. Okay, not an encounter. This is what I wanted to see. Alright, so what I'm going to show you here, what I'm going to talk about, something interesting I saw, was if you can see right here, this in this image, the shield he just popped down on the Colossus, and we're going to see, again, another half moon. I like those half moons. for all their information. It's got, I believe, 10 slots for the shield, and you're going to see as they run through that he loses some of those slots. So let's go ahead and check that out. And I'll play it back a couple times here so we can talk about that. Alright, so he lost 3 of his slots, right? And then eventually after that, we'll see, you know, that it comes back. But I thought that was really interesting, right? So that's a defensive mechanism that they have for each of these javelins. Of course, for the Colossus, it's the shield. For the other javelins, they'll have their each unique. I don't know, I talked about in the last video about defensive maneuvering and those kind of things, like when I showed off the storm basically blinking and how it used some of that blue bar, which I thought was for just for defensive abilities, but turns out it's actually for the shield, right? And I'm going to show you that here coming up in just a minute, where you can actually see the shield in action. You can see where it's being depleted and that it refills. So, but we did notice when you look at the storm in the last video, when the storm javelin kind of blinks or teleports, it uses up some of that power that's in the shield. So there is some kind of takeaway there. Use at your own risk, I guess you could say. So it's interesting. Alright, next up we're going to show here some combos in action. I'm going to show some sweet lightning, because who doesn't like that? You know, the storm, while it's not my favorite javelin, it definitely has some sweet skills. It's almost enough to make me jealous. Alright, I'm not going to have any issues playing the storm. Every javelin looks freaking sweet. Alright, so let's see this lightning in action. Scar didn't know what he did. Alright, so what I'm going to go over here in this next section is something I didn't see until just the other day. And it has to do with the shield. So I'm going to replay this over and over again for you. And the main thing I want you to check out and pay attention to is both the Ranger and the Colossus that are on fire here at the moment. So what you're going to see, if you're looking at the Ranger, let's start with the Ranger. So as you watch this clip over and over, you see him, he's taking fire, and you see him slowly lose his shield to the point where, you know, then the health starts going down and the Ranger almost dies. Gets just destroyed by that fire. Right? So let's watch that again. So you're looking here, they're battling it out, and you know the legendary Scar is just destroying this Ranger, and you know the Ranger almost dies. So you can see the shield again. Like I said, you can see it depleting. Watch it again. You can see it's going down. Then the health is going down, and so I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Then so I'm like, what else am I not seeing? So then I'm looking at this Colossus, right? The Colossus is on fire, but it's not losing any shield. It's like, well, that's interesting. Let me watch it again. Make sure I'm not seeing something, you know, or I'm not missing something. Right? So you see it again. Colossus isn't losing any health or any shield. So that, you know, led me to ask the question, well, can my shield protect me from status effects? Right? Can it protect me from being on fire? Can it protect me from lightning or frost or ice damage? You know, maybe, I don't know. But for whatever reason, that Colossus is not losing any shield while it's on fire. So that was a really cool section I found right there, where I could actually see the shield in action. You know, you see the javelins losing shield, losing health, and I just wanted to point that out to you guys. Okay, so this next section, I grabbed some of the audio that took place in the Ask Me Almost Anything About Anthem section. And I'm going to go ahead and play that right here so they can kind of explain a little bit more in detail about what's going on.
So the Scar are sort of base level humanoid enemy. They're not actually humans, or actually humanoid at all, actually, as it turns out, but they look humanoid. And they are just like a primary enemy faction, invader, that have come through these effects caused by the Shaper. So they provide a consistent enemy palette that we use.
That's right.
Unlike the Dominion that we've talked about a little bit, who are the primary enemy from a storytelling perspective. Those actually are humans. Those are actually trying to take over the world and use Shaper technology to dominate the world.
Right. So the activity that the squad's about to tackle right now is they're trying to silence this Shaper relic, And to do that, they're going to need to collect these echoes from the Anthem of Creation and bring those echoes back to the Shaper interface. And you're going to find that mechanic here and there throughout the game. Kind of a cool bit of collection and puzzlery.
Yeah, one thing that we've gone with is the game called Anthem. We use this, for people that are familiar with cymatics, refers to the physical effect of sound. So for things that are caused by the shapers, we like to apply that kind of effect. So like this kind of ferrous liquid here, that's a cymatic effect, where the audio is actually causing the visual effect to react in that way.
Yeah, it's a fun thing, and you'll see that around Shaper Relics.
Yeah. All right, well, that's the end of episode 2. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. There's a lot of cool things to be seen here in this Anthem demo trailer, and lots of great information. I look forward to checking out what's coming up next. I'm always hopeful that they're going to release some new information. Like I said last week, this week they're supposed to have a blog post with some audio. I was hoping that they would have it before this video, but we'll put it up there as soon as they put it out. So they'll probably put it out after we record the next podcast, I'm sure. But I'll put up here, there's a little teaser of what's to come next week. And until next time, there's a Shaper Storm coming. See you on the other side.